Sci-Fi.
Hey everybody, welcome to Real Life Sci-Fi with Wade and Willie. I'm Wade.
I'm Willie.
This is a podcast about the paranormal and contemporary mythology. Join us on patreon.com/reallifesci-fi for access to 2 bonus episodes a week, video feeds, and more. RealLifeSciFi.show is for all of our links and stuff. Let's welcome aboard the SSRLSF. It's a bad boy who likes to make shit. Producer Brian Barlow. What up?
Hey guys, what's up? How you guys doing?
Man, you look so tough right now. If you're not watching, then you should get on a Patreon because this guy's got face tattoos and piercings. It's intense.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I'm pretty scary guy, to be honest. So I just like, just try not to look in the mirror too often.
I was thinking it would be funny if you knew you were going to see someone that you didn't see for like 5 years, to just like shave your head and come as like a crackhead, just like get a bunch of face tattoos and like knock some teeth out and but then just never reference it, just act completely normal and see
then
what
the next time they see you, you look normal again.
Yeah, just get it back, get it all back.
Oh man, that's a great bit. I kind of want to do that. Yeah.
If you could commit to it, I'll never do it, so it's yours if you want it.
Oh man, I could even do that bit at like a job interview or something, and just like come back a week later and just no face tattoos and be like, I really want this job. Yeah.
So Brian, how into the world of like aliens, ghosts, like how into that stuff are you?
I'm pretty into it. I mean, I love like all horror film. I love I love the thought of like aliens. But I'm not like a believer in so many. Like I'm not religious. But I believe in ghouls. I believe yeah, I've seen like a ghost before, but I don't know if it was like a former dead person or not. I don't know what it was.
Right.
But I do believe in, yeah.
Do you want to tell your ghost story? Like how did that go?
Okay, are you guys sitting down?
Yeah, well, no, I got a standing
go.
desk, but I'll make it real dark in here.
Oh no, yeah, okay. So I was in college at the time, and so
Where's
I had
that?
a roommate. This was in Toronto, Canada.
Are you Canadian?
Yeah, I'm Canadian. I'm dual. I'm American, Canadian, bad boy.
So you're
Real
a sellout, dude.
These days.
Yeah, half my chest is American flag, half my chest is Canadian flag.
Yeah, but it fits. It looks good.
Yeah, if I
He's
spin
shirtless
quick enough,
too. Brian is also shirtless.
Yeah, it's how I feel most comfortable, But yeah. So I had this roommate, and we lived in this basement apartment, and we lived there for like 6 months or something. And then one night, and I wasn't like drunk or like high or anything. I am a bad boy, but I know how to keep it real sometimes.
Well,
and,
you can be a bad boy and be straight edge too.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. You can. Yeah. So I wouldn't say I was straight edge, but yeah, definitely that night I was like, maybe I had a Dorito, like, just pretty
fucking
lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, I was gonna say it's pretty awesome, but I guess to a bad boy like you, that is lame.
Yeah, like I ate the Dorito with the sharp edge.
Yeah, like vertical style.
Yeah,
You say crunch when you were snacking on it? Crunch.
yeah, totally.
Take that, Dorito.
Oh man. So my roommate was asleep, and then we had this refrigerator at the end of the hallway in the kitchen. In Canada, people have fridges in the kitchen. Just
How novel.
yeah, it's weird. But anyway, so the fridge would make a noise. It would kind of go off balance, and you hit it, and then would stop making a noise. And and this is before I realized it can probably like fold up a piece of paper and put it under a leg or something. But that was too much work. So
Yeah.
one night I was sleeping, and I heard that sound of the fridge, and I was like, oh, there's that damn fridge. Well, I'm gonna hit it because I'm a sensitive sleeper, bad boy, but super sensitive when it comes to Z's.
Well,
Um,
yeah, and I mean it's just you punch appliances, which is just to show like what a bad boy you are.
yeah, those. Yeah, if Pixar ever makes an appliance movie, I'm the bad
Yeah, you're
guy.
gonna be the villain.
Yeah, yeah. So I was walking down the hallway to hit this fridge. And as I'm walking down, it was a basement apartment again, and there was a light from our neighbor's house. So there was light coming in the kitchen window. And as I'm walking down the hallway, I see that there's a little boy in the kitchen. And he is facing the fridge. So I don't see his face. I don't see any details. I just see he's got straight hair and he's like wearing like a plaid shirt. Holy shit.
Oh, it was you.
Yeah, so he had a plaid shirt, and then as I'm walking, I look up to see if the door's open. It wasn't. It was locked. And then as I'm walking closer, then I freeze, and I'm like, it's like 2 a.m. and there's a kid in my kitchen. This ain't right. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I slowly, I'm walking towards the kid, and then he just disappears, and then I pour myself a glass of delicious, nutritious milk. I don't drink milk anymore, but hey, isn't that scary? And then I hit the fridge, and then the sound goes away.
Was the milk to like ignore the situation and try to make you feel normal?
I think so because when the kid disappeared, I started like hyperventilating in a way. I was just like, this is too much. Like, what the fuck just happened?" And then I just poured some milk and yeah, drank it, then turned around, and the kid was facing my room now,
Oh
um,
fuck.
in the kitchen, looking down the hallway. So again, I didn't see face. And then he started walking away. And then he turned into my roommate's room when he had like a Canadian flag as a doorway kind of thing. And I remember the flag moving. And then when he went through, and then I beelined it down to my room and just put my head up against like the wall to hear if I could hear anything. And then I didn't sleep that night until my roommate's alarm went off, and I was like, "You okay?" Like that kind of thing. And yeah, then I just like, yeah,
So you were just listening for the sounds of murder?
yeah. I was just like listening to, I'm a bad boy, but I really am not. No,
Man, no
yeah.
warning for your roommate at all.
No, I mean, he was pissed because I told him, and he was like, "What the hell?" Like, this ghost kid or whatever it was in my room doing whatever it was, and
He was doing
yeah,
the Dan Aykroyd scene from Ghostbusters.
yeah,
You know the one.
yeah.
But now it's
But
like pedophilia, so that's not what I meant.
no, yeah,
The kid didn't blow your friend,
if
right?
if
I
this
don't
was a
think
scene
so.
in the movie, you leaning against the wall, I would have had the ghost kid lean his head out the wall so it was like face to face with you.
Oh
Yeah.
shit,
Like
that's
Ghost Dad
great,
style.
man. And in the comedy version of it, I'd be holding a glass of milk to the wall, and then the milk would come pouring out. To get
The
like,
dumbest man in the world
yeah,
doesn't think to
yeah.
drink the milk first. He just puts it
Oh
out.
yeah, I just need to keep my supply in every fucking room. Um,
So did your
yeah,
roommate he didn't wake up. He had no idea
he
any
had
of that
no
happened.
idea. I told him right away. I thought he'd be like, just supportive. No, no. I thought he was just like, yeah, I was surprised that he was like pissed off at me. But that was the only time I had like a ghost experience or something that could be a ghost.
And then it never happened again. Did you kept living there for a little bit?
Yeah, I lived there another like 6 months, and yeah, just like I just didn't sleep, and no, no,
Well, dude, I mean,
yeah,
your roommate is right because that means the ghost lives in his room and was just going to get a snack,
Yeah.
yeah,
but he's just living in that room.
yeah. Can we get my old roommate on the call right now?
Call him up. Let's see.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, bud. Yeah,
Just talking
but
about you.
Shave your
yeah.
head first, and we'll FaceTime and draw some tattoos.
Oh yeah, let's do this. Let's try this bit.
Okay, well, we do something here on the show called the Wow Scale.
Wow scale.
Are you a Wade or are you a Willy?
It stands for Wade or Willy. It's a 5-question quiz. At the end of the quiz, I'll give you a score anywhere between 0 and 5. If you're more of a 0, you're more of a Wade. If you're more of a 5, you're more of a Willy. Are you ready to be Wade on the WoW scale?
Let's do this.
Okay. First question, 3-parter. Do you believe in aliens? If so, have they visited Earth? If so, have they visited Earth in the last 300 years?
Yes, I believe in aliens. I do believe they have visited Earth, and I do believe it has been in the last 300 years. I think there are probably some aliens here right now.
What do you think of ghosts? I mean, what do you think?
I believe in something. I don't know what it is, but I don't believe in I don't think I believe in the afterlife though. So
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think it's like a lot of people will say it's just like residual energy, or it's like a cross-dimensional thing?
Energy echo, or parallel dimension leaking in.
I could be something like that, like parallel dimension, or some kind of timeline kind of thing of some kid that I checked with history of the people that lived there, if there'd ever been a kid that lived in the house, and they had no record of anyone dying or anything.
And he was wearing a flannel shirt, so it's not like he was some old-timey. Well, I don't know. How old is flannel? Like Old West, maybe?
Maybe, yeah, probably older than that. I mean,
Papa, where's the farm, Papa? I need to milk the cows.
Flannel's just napkins that are sewn together, right? That's it.
It's old tablecloth.
That's the history of them, right? They're just bandanas.
Okay, third question. Bigfoot.
No, but I do believe people have big feet. It's probably the famous photo. I think that is a fake photo. I believe that is. But I do think that, sure, there's probably creatures we haven't seen, but I think that it's probably more of, a bear or something I don't think in Bigfoot being an actual guy.
Okay. By famous photo, do you mean video?
Yeah, famous the video of him doing his.
I mean, technically, it is just 30 photos put together. So.
Well, that's what I meant. I mean, I refer to all movies as stills.
No, I didn't know if you meant because there's the Patterson Gimlin video, but there, the first person to really have there is a photo of a big footprint, and it was a big hoax. Somebody was walking around a construction site with big feet.
Right.
Illuminati.
I don't believe that there is actually a society called that, but I do think that there's definitely societies like that do exist.
Do you think what do you think they run?
I think they run
half miles, marathons.
I think more above government. I think there's definitely
the world. They run the world.
Yeah, I'd say so. Well, I don't think they actually run it, but I think they run maybe the richest people in the world could be part of it or something that,
it's interesting. An interesting take based on what you're saying is if there was any sort of secret group, I do believe in them too. And then all of a sudden there's a new trillionaire. Wouldn't you go hit them up? Hey, we've been running shit a while. You can join us if you want, or we can.
Oh, for sure. I mean, really, those people. Really, what do they have in common with anyone else? So they're going to be hanging out, doing their, rich people parties. Then they're going to be bored of just being able to buy anything ever. So I think they would be needing to find other things to kind of interest them, because they've gotten everything.
There's this new club in New York where you have to show that you have $50,000 in your bank account to get into the club.
What? Really?
I think it's so funny.
Well, not the women, right?
Oh,
do the women have? I'll bet the women don't have to. My friend is in the what's the owl one up north?
Yeah, hold on. They do the cremation of care ritual. It's the
whatever it's called. He's in that, and he says it's just like George Bush and Bill Clinton skinny dipping. That's all they do. They just skinny dip and drink.
Well, I don't want to be a part of that.
I kind of want to see those guys' dicks. Multiverse.
I do believe that there's something like that. I think that like, that could be what explain like, the kids sitting in my standing in my kitchen, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think like that sort of thing we probably exist for sure. But like I think that could exist, I think.
Do you think like how specific do you think it is? Do you think that there's another you in a different universe that's just kind of the same, but like the lights are, you know, you go on red instead of green or whatever?
I think yeah, I think there's probably a me who's like not a bad boy.
Right.
Um who's just like, you know, no tats, shirt's always on, uh sees actual kids in their kitchen, uh never drank milk. I don't know if it goes that far of like me being the exact like in a different like dimension, but like yeah, I wonder if it's like my parents might have had like other kids in this other dimension or something, or
Right.
I don't know. I mean,
Well, what do you think? What do you
I'd love
think
to
of all
meet
the?
me.
Would you? I feel like I would just hate myself. I mean, I already do. I don't need like another me just showing me how awful I am, you know?
I'd be pretty good at hanging out with me, I think.
Yeah,
Really? God, I feel like it'd be so awkward.
I just do like the mirror game for like hours, and
It would be
and
cool. It would be, you could become an actor, you know,
oh my God.
if your other guy came over. Or you could just do that thing. What's that movie where you just like, I think it's a clone. You just send him to work and you just don't do anything.
Yeah, split the workload. That's great.
That sounds pretty good.
You gotta sleep in the car, dude.
You gotta have a job first, though. I kind of want to be the guy who goes into the other dimension where my doppelganger has a job, and then I'm like, sweet, dude, let's split it.
Oh, so then you'd earn money in this other dimension that might not be real? Or like,
I just live there. I just stay there.
so then this dimension would be you just wouldn't exist anymore. Or would you leave a note?
I would stage some kind of true crime thing that I could do a podcast on later. I'd have all these clues and people and stuff, and then I'd come back, and it would be the biggest hit podcast. Then I would have money here too. Be great.
Oh man, that's pretty great. I think you
So
should do it.
I'll try.
The way to do it is you use Canada because they have the government assisted killing.
Mm,
So
yeah.
you could go on record that they helped you die, but then you don't have to. Maybe that's what that program is. They're sending people to different dimensions.
Would they do that for an American or is it Canadians only? Can I
I
kill
think
myself in Canada?
I think if you're nice about it.
Well, give
I
them a
think
chance. We'll take
yeah,
this one.
yeah. Here, let me buy you a donut. Will you kill me?
If I just
Um,
apologize a lot, I'm so sorry to
yeah.
do this, but can you kill me? So you're a straight up 5, man. You're like you got them all except for, well, no, you're a 4 because of Bigfoot. So you're a 4.
That's right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I forgot. So congratulations, you're a 4. You're more of a Willy. That's going to come into play when we discuss this topic.
Okay.
I don't know what the topic is. Willy, hit us with the topic.
Right now on Real Life Sci-Fi, species from space. Are there any animals living on Earth right now that could be from space or another planet? Tonight, let's talk about we'll get some specific animals, I guess, that are probably, I'm going to say probably from space on Real Life Sci-Fi.
Octopus, mushroom. Does squid count? What about dolphins? Is dolphins on there?
No, I only have 4. Those 2, tardigrades and eels.
What are tardigrades?
Those are those little water bears.
Oh, why would they be from space?
Well, should we start with them?
Sure.
These little things are less than a millimeter big. They have been around for 500 million years. So they've survived every single cataclysm, every single extinction event. They can survive in volcanoes. They can survive in ice. They can survive in minus 20 degrees and still have kids. The deepest oceans. And they have survived in space. They had them out in space in 2007 for 10 days. So these things are just these little bears that walk around and eat shit, and they can survive in every single situation that's not even of this earth.
I always thought they were in water. They're not in water.
They can be in a lot of them. A lot of them are in water. There was this one scientist who was like, he was looking up tardigrades, right? And I think, I don't know what state he was in. Let's say Minnesota, something like that. They didn't have any records of tardigrades. It's like, I'll bet you they're fucking everywhere. So he studied like all these different places, and they were everywhere. Just people never really looked for them before. They're so small, and they don't really have any ancestors. They're not really on the whole animal kingdom. It's just them. And they recently found a new species in Japan. So there's like at least 2 different tardigrade species that are indestructible. Seems like they can live forever.
So what, they're like a millimeter or something? Like
they're microscopic. They're smaller than the millimeter. Yeah.
wow.
So you think they're from space just because they're
because they've survived in space? I'm like, what kind of creature could survive in something that it hadn't experienced before?
I don't trust them, man. If they wow, yeah. I've never heard of these guys before, but looking
really?
at the photos too, yeah.
I believe in panspermia, which is life moving around the solar system from asteroids, can move from planet to planet. I don't think regular science right now is accepting that there's life in the universe, A, and B, that there's other life in the solar system right now. But I'm just like, look at the tardigrades, man. These things have survived in space. So there's got to be tardigrades that have left our planet from asteroids hitting, meteors hitting, that have sent these to other planets. Would they survive over there? Yeah.
Yeah, wait, gamma ray's a real thing? I thought that was just for comic books.
Yeah, they use it for all of the classics, Hulk and but yeah, it's type of, yeah, they survive gamma radiation. And I mean, these things are indestructible creatures that just walk around eating shit.
But they're cute, but they're
Oh,
like
man.
kind of cute, I guess.
Star Trek Discovery, I think that I didn't watch it too hard and I stopped watching it, but I feel like one of their early ships was like jumping through time, and I think that they had like a giant tardigrade hooked up to like their computers.
Dude, they can go without food or water for 30 years.
Man.
They basically turn into something like a cocoon. It's called a tune, and they just get all the water out of their body. So when they freeze, any animal that can freeze, you can only survive if the ice doesn't crystallize, because then it like starts to cut up your veins and shit, so like they get all the water out of their body and kind of cocoon, and then they wake back up wherever they are, as long as like they can go without water, but as soon as you put water back in their environment, they like, I'm back.
What if we went to a planet where we were a millimeter, we were less than a millimeter? Do you think that would be fun? Like, do you think, because they wouldn't even know we were around?
I think you'd spend the whole time going, whoa, look out for me.
Everything's but could you even get stepped on if you're a millimeter? Wouldn't you just like kind of squish against the ground a little bit?
Yeah. What if though, if on this planet though, if the other creatures there are like a centimeter, so they're not substantially bigger, so their footprint would be 2 millimeters maybe.
But
Yeah.
that kind of ruins the fun.
No, yeah. I would totally be down if you guys owned a spaceship right now and I climbed into it and flew up, went to a planet where I was a millimeter. I'd love it.
Do you think they came on a spaceship and they're just like, look at all the water, let's just stay here? Now they're like, God, these humans are really fucking up our water.
Well,
Let's go somewhere else.
I feel like one idea is that the water from our planet only came from comets hitting. So it was cosmic ice always. And that kind of lends to all the creatures we're going to talk about.
Wait, is that true? We didn't have water?
Well, if you picture like the planets forming and coalescing and just different elements all showing like hot spinning together, like a
Sure.
lot of the water would have been burned off into gas, escaped to the out into space. And that's where the comets were created, basically. But it's like the comets would have had to have hit us after we formed an atmosphere. If it came before that, it wouldn't have stuck.
But
Is
that's
one
so
idea.
much water.
Yeah.
Is it like a water? Is it like a big ice?
Well,
Big
if you
ice meteor?
picture the size of the sun, right? And like just all this shit forming at once. So there'd be huge comets of ice, bigger than, Halley's Comet comes back every 75 years. It's constantly losing shit. I bet you that thing started out huge, like probably maybe planetary. I don't know what I'm talking about though.
I don't know. What do these bears do? These water bears?
They just survive. That's
They
it.
just sit around
What do we,
looking cute.
I mean, we wouldn't know if they were talking, right? Well, that small of a thing, we wouldn't know if they were communicating with each other.
Has anyone ever tried to like decipher what a dog is saying?
I
It
mean,
can't be
I
that
always
hard. They only make like 3 noises.
it's like who's in charge of who's paying for it? Because I have seen cat people talk about they can go like, oh, that means this, that means this. Cat whisperers. You got any animals, Brian?
I do. I have two cats. Probably once a week, I'm like, I wish we could just talk. It'd make things so much more easier, but I think they drive me crazy.
When I get stoned, I'm pretty sure me and my cat have long conversations.
Like about what?
Oh, just like me apologizing a lot and her going like, "You should apologize. You're bad." Not in a good way, not in the bad boy cool way like you. Just like, just complaining about food and stuff. And I'm always like, I'm sorry. And then I blow a bunch of weed in her face. But I feel like I can understand my cat. I feel like if you got like a really high powered microphone, you could hear these tardigrades, right? Squeaking around.
Yeah.
Don't they talk to dolphins and shit?
The people studying dolphins, I watched a guy talk about how like, yeah, they definitely have names for each other, and they're
Really?
definitely like communicating, and they also can't figure out what they're saying. So it's like they know they're communicating, but they can't tell what they're saying. So like
But you don't think that dolphins are aliens, or they're just not on your list?
they have a clear evolutionary history. So maybe an ancestor was not, or maybe they had mixed. Because the thing about Earth is we are an open system. So if you believe in aliens and you believe they're here like me, they could have brought stuff over with them, or they could have messed with DNA, and created different things, or just because there's an evolutionary track doesn't mean that it was ever not messed with or introduced really early. Or
Well, hang on. Does that mean everything on your list doesn't have an evolutionary track?
a lot of these things kind of don't. I'm not 100% on how close they are to things, but like let's jump into the octopus, right? So the octopus, there are mollusks, and there have been mollusks for a long time, but the octopi are so different from mollusks, and I don't feel like there are clear ancestors. I've heard people say this. I can't prove it.
Well, but also they look like aliens. So,
Yeah, and I
Mhm.
mean these things are fucking intelligent and nuts. You know that humans have 25,000 genes, and octopi have 50,000 genes. And also like with their brains, right? We have a brain, they have a central brain, but they have brains in each arm that are independent, and they all work
ew,
together. They all work
gross.
together.
Like
Multiple
Voltron.
brains. Sure, they've got 3 hearts. They have the way that they camouflage, they change their color and their shape, and they can mimic other animals that are usually dangerous animals. Like, stay away from me, fucker. They can build their own homes. They can use tools.
They have
And I mean,
ink.
here's what's the ink. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about the ink. Squids, the same as octopuses.
Squids are in the mollusk family, but they are not octopi. Like all the
So they're
mollusks,
not aliens.
they're all very similar, and they may have been. I think either octopi were pets of some aliens that showed up here, or they were genetically modified mollusks. I think the craziest thing about octopuses that people don't really know is that they can edit their DNA. So their DNA helix, it's like a zipper. They can unzip it and then they edit RNA and they can basically create new proteins. I don't really know exactly what that means, but it's real and it's fucking crazy. And so
Why
these
aren't they
things
walking
can
around on
survive.
Earth then? Just walking around, fucking. Then what are the others? I feel like I didn't hear the last one after tardigrade.
Oh, mushrooms and eels. Eels has got a crazy story too. But
Eels, really? Yeah, talk about eels. I never thought about
wait,
that.
real quick for octopi, that there are a couple of ancient civilizations that had drawings and carvings where they had octopi with really huge eyes, which they don't have. And so some people think that maybe there was a earlier version of octopi that had huge eyes, because if they did, I don't think you could tell from a fossil that it had huge eyes, because it wouldn't have survived in any sort of.
I'm always like these ancient drawings. I feel like they just like sucked at art,
I feel like they were more symbolic, than.
Yeah, it's like it's symbology, right? So they're like, I don't know, these octopuses are crazy. It looks like they're watching me all the time. I'm gonna draw its eyes real big because there's octopus. I'm looking up octopus eyes right now. There's some pretty big ones, big-eyed octopuses. Some of them are cute. Sorry, I got lost.
Eels are fucking crazy because the American and European eels,
Hmm.
not until 2022 did we even know where or how they spawned, how they had sex or mated or anything. We didn't know anything until 2022. So you could try to find the sex of an eel, but like it doesn't really express itself until it's about to spawn. So they found out by putting trackers on them and following them. And they found out that these American and European eels all go to the same place every year to spawn, or wherever I don't know if it's every year, but whenever they spawn, they all go back to the same place, like a salmon going upstream. But some of these eels can walk on land for a little bit, slither on land. They go from freshwater to saltwater. They all go to the same place, and it's in the Bermuda Triangle. So the idea is that a comet hit over there a long time ago, and they all go back to where they came from.
Oh wow!
Now there is an Australian brand of eel and they go to a different part of the ocean, but same thing. Like that's just people in the crazy realm think that that's where their comet hit. And I didn't realize that the electric eel is not really a real eel. It's a more of a different type of fish. Anyways, but
Oh really? I've never.
Why are eels fish? That doesn't seem right. Because they're obviously snakes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bet eels are dicks too to snakes. I'll bet they're like they come up on land and they meet a snake and then they talk a little bit like I'm a snake too. But then they go into the water and the other snakes are like, fuck, what? And they try and follow them and just drown or something. That'd be fun.
I used to have eels. Remember my eels?
Ew, what? No. You did?
When I lived with Merle, I had two brackish water eels, and it
Really?
was cool, dude. I'd feed them goldfish, and it's cool to watch them eat.
So they can leave the water then too, as well. Like, can they?
The European ones, a lot of them are freshwater, and a lot of times they have to jump out of the water to make it back into the ocean.
So do you think that all of these things just came on some kind of meteor or something and they're stuck?
Yeah, that they might have started somewhere else, survived here, and they're just here. Because eels, in the same way, they've been around a long time and they don't really have great ancestry.
But are they smart eels?
I mean, I'd say no. They're good at surviving. I don't know if tardigrades are either, but they just survived space.
Would you guys eat a tardigrade?
I feel like I have already on accident, but
If it was presented nicely with some sauces, if Gordon Ramsay made it, I'd eat it.
Yeah, I guess there'd have to be a lot for you to see them, like a
Just a big
pile.
pile of them. Ugh, that kind of
Pile, yeah,
grosses me out, dude.
it really is. And I read that another name for them is moss piglet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Water bear is so much cuter. I don't know
It
who came up
really,
with
yeah,
moss piglet.
not cool, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, who makes these names? Eel, just call it a water snake. Moss piglet.
I feel like whoever comes up with the name, it's like just use your name. It's easier, and it's not as like whatever the fuck you're gonna come up with. Like, what are you gonna name it after what it looks like? Oh, it's
Yeah,
kind of like a bear, except it's
I
in
feel
water.
like, yeah, well, water bear is better than tardigrade. I mean, come on, who came up with tardigrade? I
yeah.
feel like if I was in charge of naming animals, I would come up with new cute words. Just try to name everything real cute. Let's see, what's two words that are fun? Like that doesn't work. I was gonna say a dillo, like a donut and a pillow, but dillo doesn't sound as cute as either donut or pillow.
This is a corgi bean.
Oh, that's good.
Corgi bean's
Corky
pretty
bean.
good. Why
I
isn't
think
there? There should just be an animal called like a fluff. Wouldn't that be cute if there was an animal called a fluff?
The fluff.
that would be. That would be. It was just like Brad's find. Like whoever found it, that's it. Found by Brad.
That's what comets are, right? It's just you just name it
Oh
after
yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
This is Willy's Wonder #1.
This is Brad's water bear.
So eels aren't smart. So the only one that's smart, I forgot the last one again. What's the last one? Snails or something?
Mushrooms.
Oh, mushrooms. And those aren't smart.
Well, so wait, first off, mushrooms have also survived in space. They've found fungus growing on the ISS and the Mir space stations. So that's the actual fungus. But their spores have got like a metallic shell that can survive in space also. So these things are fucking and they think that mushrooms, like trees, communicate and but the mycelium network is a big underground network of communication that, like, actually the trees use the mushrooms for the whole forest to communicate.
Yeah,
And it's just intelligence.
remember in Super Mario Brothers how the king turned into a mushroom and he'd give them like bombs and stuff before they knew he was a king because the mushroom was just taking over the whole city.
No.
You don't remember that? Yeah, no, the king. And then there's that really bad reverse weird CG thing where the mushroom turns back into the king and he's all goofy. He's like, whoa, hello. So that's such a weird choice for a king.
Are you talking the movie or the game? The movie,
Yeah,
right?
the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, the movie's got it all. Parallel dimensions, dinosaurs, mushrooms.
Well, but do you think if mushrooms are aliens, then we shouldn't be getting stoned off of them? Because it's so fun.
Well, some people think that mushrooms are guiding humanity, that they are
Right.
the intelligence. Maybe they were sent to us, because once you get high off mushrooms, you want everyone else to do it. And maybe that's the mushrooms telling you to share it.
Brian, you do mushrooms?
I have. It's been like a couple days since I last did it.
Oh, so
No,
you're
it's
taking a
been a long
break.
time, but yeah. I like them though, but yeah, I haven't done them forever.
This is the thing. Everyone talks about how mushrooms, like what Willie just said, but I do mushrooms and I barely feel anything. Does that mean that I'm not good enough?
Well, Terrence McKenna is like the mushroom specialist, and he says you gotta do too much. You gotta do so much that, and so he used to just fucking, he's in a lot of ayahuasca, but he was a big mushroom guy and counterculture dude. And he says that the mushrooms used to communicate with him. He'd do them so much. And this was a communication that he said the mushrooms said to him. Oh yeah, sure, he's probably tripping, whatever, but like he used to study civilizations. And he's just a really intelligent. He's like the Carl Sagan of mushrooms. That's what he is. Here's a message he got from the mushrooms. Within my memory is the knowledge of hyperlight drive ships and how to build them. I will trade this knowledge for a free ticket to new worlds around suns less forsaken. So the mushrooms tell him, hey, I'll tell you how to get to the stars if you take me with you. Sure, it's a fucking mushroom trip, but it just sounds
It's
fucking
kind of bad.
amazing.
It's kind of a backhanded less forsaken. Like we haven't totally fucked the planet up yet. Less forsaken, right? It's saying like I gotta get the hell out of here.
Yeah, for sure. And Terrence McKenna is the guy who came up with the stoned ape theory that they used to follow herds around and then they started eating mushrooms and then that led to culture and religion and mind expansion.
So we gotta start feeding octopuses mushrooms.
Oh fuck, that's the answer, dude.
I mean,
That's
that's
it.
kind of it feels like the next step. If we want the octopuses to take over, which I do, God, think if they're governing, they'd be like 8 arms a rule, and then we'd all be screwed.
Well, arm wrestle 8 of you, huh? Losers.
Brian, which of these things do you think are from space out of these four?
I mean, really, the octopus seems like the most, I think. Just based on appearance, but also,
hmm
Their camouflage is definitely like aliens among us style shit.
mhm.
Which
But we
ones do
have
you think,
other
Wade?
things that can do that, right? I mean, lizards can do it, right?
Yeah, well, a lot of the animals that do, they mostly just change their color. Like it is weird how many species just are deal with camouflage, stick bugs, just things are like, you don't see me, John Cena. But the octopi actually change not only their shape and the way that their skin works, but the way that their color changes is it just takes these different colors and it can make any color by mixing different colors together.
I think octopuses are probably if I had to choose. I'm not sold on eels. Why is eels on there?
Eels is kind of the fun one just because they all fucking go back to the Bermuda Triangle to spawn.
Oh,
Now
right,
I
right,
later
right,
I
right.
later learned about the Australian ones, but people say that within that area there's definitely like a giant meteor that hit there, some kind of extinction level, big, huge meteor comet or something.
They
So
do, or they just think that.
my memory could be wrong, but I thought I read that where they spawn in the Bermuda Triangle was a huge meteor hitting there. I forget the specific spot, but if you look up eels, it's definitely written in there.
Dude, I didn't know that we didn't know that much about eels.
Until 2022, and so it's funny from now on. Like kids learning about eels now is different from not that we learned much about them anyways, but they just didn't know. They didn't know how they reproduced.
So if you had them in captivity, they just wouldn't reproduce?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. There was one other thing that I wanted to bring up, but I forget what it was. But whatever it was, but you saying that's reminded me that like, and it might even be eels, but whatever the species was, at the same time, every single animal in that species would want to go spawn at the same time, whether it was in captivity, whether it was in a freshwater and saltwater. I think it was eels, but I just can't fully remember.
Yeah, I'm gonna go octopus just because, like, come on. They look like it.
Right? They got 8 hands or whatever. Hands.
Yeah.
It's just hands.
They're all gooey and stuff. It looks like you could just, if you pressed hard enough, you could just push your finger straight through it, and then like goo would spill out.
Yeah, I did like Arrival that they used an octopus style creature. I thought that was cool. Even
Oh,
though
right,
like I
yeah.
didn't buy it at first. I'm like, what are you floating in air? Come on.
I just feel like if you told 100 children to draw an alien and they didn't know anything about aliens or octopuses, they would probably draw an octopus, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's got 8 arms, 3 hearts, 9 brains.
the octopus
Yeah.
were made by like an idiot 10-year-old.
Do you guys think any of these could have been do you think if aliens showed up and they were like whatever kind of like us or whatever giants or whatever something
Mhm.
that they would have brought shit over with them, kind of like how like when cows came here they spawned all kinds of new grasses from their shit.
So not like pets, because I was thinking you meant like pets, and I was like, well, we don't take cats with us. into space and stuff. But it'd be fun to like populate Mars with cats. Oh man,
Oh
what
my
a
gosh.
dream.
Well, we brought like I don't know monkeys to space though and stuff.
True.
Maybe.
Monkeys
Yeah.
and dogs, and I'm sure there's been birds from I think Russia sent fucking everything, you know.
Yeah.
But if we were going to a whole new planet, if we like found a planet, I guess we'd bring some animals.
We'd send zoo ship.
Well, you know, like the old boats going from continent to continent, they'd be filled with mice, so they had to bring cats on the. There was always a cat on the boat. There's always livestock,
Yeah.
chickens. So like if we were going to like live, I don't know. Are we at the point? Are we beyond bringing animals with us? We don't even know how to farm anymore. It's like, oh no, we've got our powders.
Yeah, right. Once we get to that's what I
Mm.
was thinking too. It's like, oh, we just have it in pills, I guess. I don't know why everyone thinks that in the future we don't enjoy eating food anymore. Just turn everything into a pill. Remember in Jetsons, do you think that those pills tasted like food? Like if you ate a chicken dinner pill, would it taste like chicken dinner? Did they ever get into that?
They
I don't
did
think
not. There
no,
was a
but I think they
series
would
called.
though,
Yeah, I
right?
think so too. There was a series called The Lex. It was a. Did you ever watch the Canadian sci-fi show The Lex, Brian?
No, I didn't. I do remember it though, but yeah, yeah.
It was pretty good. They had some. Basically, they'd have to refill this goo, but it would like you could request what it would tasted like, and I'm like, oh yeah, I get like if we could map out our tongues real well. Yeah, it's like you just make things that hit those same spots.
That's
I don't know.
fucked. I don't like it because like, you know, half the fun of toast is the crunch. I don't want toast. I don't even really care for the taste of toast. I mean, it's fine, but like really I just want that crunch.
What if they made a pill that had no taste, but it was just the exact crunch of toast, just for one bite? This crunch pill. No, maybe it has toast taste too. You
It
know?
feels like it feels like a swing and a miss if it doesn't also have the taste. They're just like this crunches like toast.
Yeah, they need two pills. You need to take the taste one as
Ah,
well.
I mean,
can
really,
you
they just
believe people used to eat this shit for reals?
they just made a pill. They just took toast and cut a little pill shape out of it. They're like, look, we we've recreated toast in pill form.
It's just styrofoam pill.
I mean, that'd be adorable. Well, toast pill?
Little toast pill would be great.
Yeah. I mean, mini food, guys. It doesn't need to be the shape of a pill.
I know. I
Maybe.
picture Mad Max and like you know the way that I have nostalgia for toys. People have nostalgia for food. Like, oh yeah, I just want that crunch, man. I'm just going after that crunch. I'll pay anything.
Right. Yeah. Because toasters, that would be the last thing. If you're in Mad Max world, unless you're putting it on your chest like some kind of, oh, if they stab me, they'll get electrocuted. If they stab me right in the slots of the toasters, then they'll get electrocuted and that'll be awesome. And you carry around a little car battery and stuff. Uh, but really, you wouldn't just like have a toaster because what kind of bread could you even make that would fit in the
And
toaster at that point?
the,
Like you're trying to make
Mm.
bread and it's like it comes out all fucking like fucked up and shit. I'm gonna really miss bread. That's probably gonna be like one of the first things that goes, huh? Or
they
no,
have
that's
sharp
not true.
knives, so like as you try to cut it, it just squishes the whole loaf.
Yeah, you can't get it into the right shape to fit in the toasters, and people are just like, toasters aren't worth it. We're using so much gasoline to try and toast this bread, and it's just we would rather charge our Mustangs. A really cool Mustang. We put a bunch of metal on and stuff. Brian, what do you think about like outside of these four? You think anything is from outer space? Anything else like koalas or something? Koalas are kind of crazy. Or sloths. Sloths I can see coming from outer space because they're all just like in a different time frame than we are. They just like don't observe minutes.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Rocks. I mean, I know that's not a living thing, but but are they?
Yeah, who knows? Because they could be. I mean, we didn't even know how eels fucked until like 2 years ago. So
Right?
rocks
What
rocks
if
could
we
be the
just,
smartest things.
yeah, the horniest
Then
animal
I
on
mean,
the planet?
when you say rocks, we store computer information using rocks, quartz crystals like store information.
yeah,
And
so
we would,
next time someone says you're dumb as a rock, you can throw that in their face.
uh,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well, rocks
yeah.
store information,
I'm as
dickhead.
dumb as your phone.
It's like I don't know, like all underwater life is like kind of
Oh, totally.
yeah, it's all just so otherworldly, and then
Yeah, there's like fish that have lights on their faces.
Oh,
The
dude.
fuck is that about? Is it light or is it glow? Is it a glow? Or it
It
has got
is
to be
it,
light.
it is a light. And
How's
I,
that
they
possible?
have animals that look like rainbow light happening through them, like through their veins. And I'm like, doesn't that make things want to eat you? Like, why are you doing that?
No, because they're like, we need some majesty down here. Like everything's so ugly. That rainbow fish is pretty cool. Do you believe them all? You definitely believe mushrooms, right?
For yeah, I think mushrooms. I also think that they might actually have contribute to our intelligence more than anything. I don't know if that's actually on purpose, if they are sentient intelligent, or if things threw them out in the universe to be like, if there are alien warring races all over the universe, like let's sprinkle mushrooms throughout the cosmos, because to get you to think outside of, people think a lot of our early philosophers like Plato and stuff were using hallucinogens, and the ancient Egyptians would use the blue lotus. Every fucking drawing's got a blue lotus on it. That's a hallucinogen.
Is that a flower?
Yeah.
I never knew there was a hallucinogenic flower. Or is it
and
a flower like marijuana is a flower?
Yeah, look. I mean, like if you look at the draw, I don't really know flowers too much, but it is a Nile flower, and there's so many depictions of it, and it's like, yeah, this thing, they used to get high off of this shit. So
Dude,
getting
why aren't we getting
high,
high off of it?
yeah, I know. I've thought about trying to reach out for it because it's probably not classified because it doesn't really exist out here. I don't know,
Right,
but
yeah.
that type of mind altering drug, we call it a drug, and drug is such a bad word, but anything that
The article I'm reading
expands your
calls it
mind.
ethnogenic. Is that what you're trying to think of?
No, but
Psychedelic? We're
that's
trying to think
yeah,
of
yeah,
psychedelic?
psychedelic.
Okay.
Just something that makes you radically think about our place in the universe. Like here we are in our society, but picture 1,000 years ago their society. It's not that you're locked into what you need to do. It's just like you're raised to be in this society. So to get outside of it, especially with your mind, is like where philosophy comes from.
But if aliens sent these things out, is it a recruitment tool? Or like if they're at war, is one side
I
losing and they're like, well, let's
right.
send them all of our fucking cool like memory uh plants, and then when
Oh yeah,
they eat
like
them, they'll get our memory, and then they'll want to come help us. But it's like it's really just what's it called? Propaganda. It's just mushrooms are propaganda.
Terrence McKenna had this other idea where it was just kind of like a beacon, where it's like, hey, if there's intelligent life out there and they take this thing, maybe it will communicate to the source that there's some intelligent life that took it. Like, oh,
See,
let's go
that's
this way.
terrifying too. That's like now it's a beacon for them to come take over.
Yeah, because that's,
So,
I
so
mean, like
now,
that's kind of
now I'm
what
like,
we're doing.
fuck.
We're smart. We're sending out probes with like information on how to get back to
Yeah,
us.
but we're doing like, come here and kill us. Well,
Yeah.
I got, yeah, you're saying the same thing.
we gotta put some mushrooms up in space, and then they'll be like, "Oh shit, they know. They're on to us.
Eat this,
Yeah.
and if you survive, come back to it. Come talk to us.
No, we're
This is
sending
our
it
stuff." They're
back.
returning it back. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
It's like an Amazon order.
they're
Fuck.
geniuses.
They know.
Yeah,
Let's never invade there. They sent the mushrooms back.
they passed the test. Now all they need to do is send the octopus back.
That's our. We're like the dumbest. We just start shooting stuff into space. This could be aliens. It's
That's
just the Salem witch trials for the future.
Yeah.
We got to get these aliens out of here.
I think it's a
Well,
dolphin. And just like a dolphin, no water in a ship, just
There's people like
why even
killing
have a
dolphins,
ship?
being like, these fucking
Dolphins
aliens
look a
have been
lot
here
like
forever.
rockets.
yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see. I really want to talk about these alien wars and how they're trying to get us on our side. Oh, I don't know what I'm reaching for. Okay. Um. Well, Brian, do you want to plug anything or shout out your socials or anything like that?
You can, yeah, sure. Hey, you can look at my cats and other dumb bits and stuff on Brian Barlowski on Instagram. And
Wait, is your name
yeah,
Brian Barlowski?
no, it's Brian Barlow, but I just added a ski at the end on
Oh, okay.
Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and besides that, just like I don't know, keep your stick on the ice, guys, and just be yourself. Say no to drugs. Um, but no, say yes to some though. Um,
Yeah, say yes to the good ones. Stay away
yeah,
What's
from
the
manufactured drugs.
what's the modern version of say no to drugs? Like say no to your doctor if they are suggesting things because they're all making their own, each office is making their own money.
I think at this time it's say no to fentanyl. If you can, it's in everything. I get my hair. I've still not given up on growing hair, so I'll still take whatever that hair pill is. But I get it from India, and now I'm like, fuck, is there fentanyl in this? Like, am I gonna die? And then I'm like, well, I kind of want to, so it's okay if I do, right? But it's weird that like, I don't know. I'm operating in a dangerous bootleg drug world.
I'm into bootleg drugs, but I agree with you. It's like, well, I mean, like in America, they think everything's safe because it's regulated, but I'm like, no, that doesn't make anything safe.
Why are you putting
So
fentanyl in
get it cheap.
stuff? Why? Like, if you're making cocaine, step on it in the old way. Don't put fentanyl in it. Why would you do that? What is this? It's China. It's all China.
It's an attack. It's not a
It is. It
profit.
kind of is.
just put MSG in there instead.
Yeah. MSG's
That's
great.
I started putting my cocaine on my soup.
What happened to the old China, where all we cared about was MSG? All right.
you guys. This was great.
Well, you can just stick around and do the bonus, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So go to patreon.com/reallifesci-fi, and we will be continuing our conversation with Brian Barlow. And remember that just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. We're talking about the aliens here and the fentanyl people. So thanks for listening. Brian, thanks again for being here.
Thank you, guys.
All right, see you next time.
Peace.
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 Real life sci-fi.